So this is Empowering the Healer Within, the online summit, season 2 for self-care for healers. Once again, my name is Peter Van Twyver. I'm your host, and it is my privilege and honor to introduce Lynn Barry. Hey, Lynn, welcome to our journey.
Hi, Peter. Thanks for having me today.
So very cool topic. We'll get to that in just a minute. I'd like to introduce Lynn. So Lynn is a registered nurse and has been practicing for almost 40 years. Her specialty is end-of-life care. She is currently working in hospice. Lynn is a Holy Fire Karuna Reiki Master Teacher and an advanced Akashic practitioner. She feels that she has many purposes in this life, and she is here today discussing one of them, and that purpose is to help people cross over. So yeah, very cool topic. I'm really psyched about this topic. So Lynn, tell me, you're a licensed clinician like me. We've been around the block a few times. What brought you to energy work from Western science?
Well, I started as a child knowing I wanted to be a nurse. My dad was pretty sickly, and when he passed when I was 17, so it drove me right into the medical. I found myself in long-term care, and end of life happened to be my favorite thing. I really got into that type of care and helping the patient and the families, which has just continued all these years. What started me into energy work is my family. My sisters, I lost all my sisters from cancer. I lost my brother. I've lost my entire family. And being the nurse and taking care of them full time, the energy work kind of found me. My first sister that passed was very afraid. She had pancreatic cancer. And I started having mediumship experiences with all my family members that were in heaven that really were associated to her, to be able to soothe her and get rid of her fear so that she could cross easily. So this is how it started in 2006. My whole life I've had experiences, with spirit and all of that too, but it was just kind of put aside. It just started coming full force. With each sister that passed, I ended up taking Reiki, getting into different modalities and trying to help each one of them cross and pass easier. My last sister that passed in 2019 passed just so peaceful and graceful. And we did a lot of work here on Earth to make her passing easier. So it's just been a cumulative. Once I started, I never stopped. I just absorbed as much as I could.
So do you think you got better and better and better at helping people pass as you did more and more, as you had more and more experiences and more training?
Oh, I definitely do. Yes. And then even just working in hospice, the experience, you're able to help and put everything in place without really being affected. You're able to, move that along nicely and be of service.
Yeah, it is an honor you don't realize how powerful energy work is until you have an end-of-life experience and you have that honor, that ability to help people pass and the family as well, right?
Right. Yes, it's amazing. It's very soul satisfying.
Huh.
Very grateful.
Yeah. So what modalities do you use to help people cross? I know you mentioned you're a Holy Fire Reiki Master Teacher, Karuna Reiki Master Teacher. What else do you use?
Well, it depends what I'm doing. I guess today here we're talking about house cleansings.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, just helping people cross, it's just the medical knowledge, the love, the compassion, the comfort, and, I have a nice way of calming the situation. And with my medical education too, that just, makes a nice little impact. But as far as, I think today we're here talking about house cleansings. So with that, Reiki is my main um, my main,
You go to, yeah.
yeah, my main go-to. Yes, I do. I use some cord cutting. I'll use tarot, channeling, depending. It really is intuitive.
Hmm.
Reiki is always the biggest part of it. Um, but I use my intuition to what else is needed.
So
You
yeah,
know,
depends on the
mediumship comes in sometimes. I use a lot of prayer. You know, I do pray and I call in the angels and the masters if needed. It's really every case that I do is different.
Hmm. So how good is Holy Fire Reiki? Is it that strong that it can clear a space?
Holy Fire Reiki is amazing. You know, Yasui, Holy Fire, everything that I've learned along the way, it just is, it's so potent and it's amazing for healing. You know, people and myself benefit so much from it.
Excellent. So do you have any stories about some house clearings that you did? But let me actually, before we answer that question, let's back up. So a better question to go into right now is, why do people need to clear their house?
Well, I think taking care of yourself includes clearing all your space in your home. Over the years, I've fallen into cleaning houses. It wasn't my intent to be doing this. So let me back up a little bit and talk about why I did get into this. I bought a house in 1990 and I had a spirit living in the house. My husband at the time worked nights and I was alone with 2 children. And as soon as he would leave at night, things would be happening. Noises, doors, stuff falling out of cabinets. I was petrified. I cried all the time. I didn't sleep. It probably took about a month. And then I just screamed at the spirit and said, stop scaring us. You can stay here. Like, I didn't kick your family out. They left, you know, you can stay with us, but stop scaring us. And from that point on, it became playful. I realized later it was a child. It was an 11-year-old child that was with us. And playful, my children have stories, you know, so you become a believer of ghosts when you live with one. So I lived with her for 20 years until I realized I had the ability to help her cross, you know, so that is how this started. And then as this started, and the more I was educated with Reiki and all different systems, it started falling in my lap. I was doing house cleansings for gifts for people when they bought new homes. You know, I worked at New Hampshire Metaphysical for a little bit. I got a couple clients through there. So, you know, they just keep finding me. And that's one of the things, you know, it finds you what you need to do. So I forget the original question. I'm sorry.
So this is a type of self-care, like
Oh yeah. So self-care, cleaning your space is huge. Even without spirit, just cleaning the space you live in. We're very good at clearing our space that we work in, making our sacred space, but the rest of our house, sometimes we don't think about that. Energy can get trapped in cluttered corners, and think about the stresses that you have in your daily life. We all work, we come home from work, the news is on, people come in your house, you know, the places that are most traveled in your home get filled with energy, and a lot of it's negative. You come home, you're drained, you're exhausted, you don't have the energy, you know. So cleaning your own space, regardless of spirit, is very important for your self-care. People don't always think about it. I try to clean my house and I clean my space. You know, I try to do it routinely. Anytime I'm feeling sluggish or lazy, or I feel like my house needs to be cleansed, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's
in your day to day.
That's a huge message, because, you know, we take our car and get the oil changed on a regular
Exactly.
basis. We take a shower. daily, perhaps.
Yep. You're cleansing yourself, you cleanse your sacred space, but the space around you, we're sick. We carry energy from, everywhere into our own homes.
Yep.
So it's really important to, ground yourself every day. Always have intention when you're cleaning your house, the prayer, call on the divine, prayers, mantras, move clockwise, open the windows, cleanse out your space. I always show respect for the indigenous cultures that we took this cleansing act from. And I just find that it's really important day to day.
Nice. So before we hit the record button, we were talking about how you went away and you came back to your house and you felt something. What did you feel?
Well, yeah, I had gone away just a couple of weekends ago and I had cleaned my house. Everything was fine. I had someone staying with my dog. So then in comes my son and his dog. And, there was a lot of activity in my house. And when I walked in my house, I could feel the change in the energy.
Huh.
It was very chaotic and very different from how I left. So I cleansed my whole house and brought it back to feeling great.
Huh. So you're empathic and intuitive. I don't think those terms are necessarily the same. So you feel things or things, or how does that work for you when you're sensing the energy?
Well, yeah, I can feel it too. Yes. I can sense it. I can feel it. Both in a multitude of ways.
Okay. Excellent. So, so what potentially is in the house that needs to be cleansed? Like, so you feel like you walk into something, you feel something's different. So is it bad stuff or not necessarily bad stuff? What is it that needs to be removed?
You mean as far as just the regular house cleansing or spirit cleansing?
Well, you could be walking into
Both.
a spirit. How do you know?
Well, usually people will reach out to me for house cleansing. My son just moved to East Boston last 2 months ago. Him and his fiance bought a home and they're both very intuitive and they were seeing spirit. They were afraid, it affects you. Having a house where somebody else is there all the time, it affects your sleep. The dog was really even feeling it. So he had been bugging me to go cleanse his house numerous times. So finally, with cleaning and helping him do a bunch of other things, I went over and I cleansed his house. And this one was different. Every time I do a home, different things transpire, different things come to me. I can usually tell why, so let me backtrack. So it's really good for me to have an interview with the person whose house I'm cleansing. They usually have a lot of insight on why the spirit's there. I can get a lot of information from that. And then I'll intuitively know, sometimes I pull, with my sons, I pulled a couple of tarot, which gave me some nice information walking in. In cleansing the house, I did find that there was a couple different spirits there. And this one was, in particular, was absolutely crazy because the spirit was very attached to the home. Sometimes spirits are attached to the people, the home. There's a bunch of different reasons that spirit attaches and doesn't cross over. So in this case, the spirit was attached to the home. It was the original owner that was there, among others, which I was able to clear all the others nicely. But this spirit did not want to go. He was very resistant and it was very unsettling to me. I hadn't run across this before. So I did everything that I usually do tenfold. Prior to going there, though, I really protect myself, even though working at the level that you work with the high energies, your spirit attachment doesn't really, it's makes it more difficult to attach to you. But I do protect myself before I even start a house. So anyway, I was working through his home, and it takes me a couple of hours to get through it. And the spirit just did not want to go. I was having full conversations, trying to, coax him to leave and why he should. And, so I felt that the spirit was ready to leave the home. So we ended up having dinner, and I went home, and the spirit followed me. He didn't attach to me, but he followed me. I had conversation all the way home from Boston, telling him why he should go, why he shouldn't be there, why we want him to go, and so on. And I came home, I was exhausted. It was like a fight, a struggle. I came home, I went to sleep. I was woken in the night. I don't want to go. Why are you making me go? This type of stuff. So I got right up in the morning. I was channeling. I was able to figure out his whole story, which he needed my son to know. So my son has done a lot of research since on the owner, and we need to honor him as this, was his home that he just loved and never wanted to leave. He left. I found out why he left, which was difficult for him at the time, why him and his family moved on, and he never wanted to leave. So he ended up staying with the house once he passed. So eventually, 2 days into this, he did cross. And then I was filled with gratitude, and, and I've been back there, and he visits, which is fine. That's always good.
Huh.
It's a positive,
So it sounds like spirit attachments aren't necessarily negative entities. They have something they have business they have to attend to. They have something they need to fix or resolve before they move on.
Well, that's true. Or they just, there's a multitude of reasons why spirit stays attached.
So it's kind of like hospice. You are assisting a soul in their transition. So that, again, that's quite an honor, right?
It is. It really is. And it's funny, my friend Sue, who passed years ago. So I've helped every family member, best friends cross. I've been part of a lot of crossings and passings in my lifetime. And my friend Sue, prior to passing in 2011, told me that one of my purposes was to help people cross. And yeah, I worked in long-term care. I loved end of life. I witnessed so many deaths and helped people through this. So I thought that was it. But then as time goes on, helping people cross from homes and one little soul at a time, I really feel that this is one of my purposes.
Nice. So that's an amazing story, and I appreciate you sharing that. So before during the story that you're discussing, you had mentioned that you're working with higher vibrations. So can you tell me more about that? You're connecting into something much higher than yourself vibrationally.
Right, exactly. So keeping yourself, your space clear, working with the higher energies, you're able to help lower energies without being affected, and working on clearing your space and doing all of your self-work and getting to these higher energetic places is given me the ability to help others at a lower vibrational level rise, cross, pass, whatever the case is, without having me be affected. I'm filled with love and gratitude and compassion. That's what I take from all of it. I feel so grateful.
So those are very high vibrational feelings and concepts. Gratitude, compassion. There's unconditional love in there too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that leads to joy, which is even
It's
higher.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's really good.
So it sounds like you're doing your work, you're doing your self-care. Um, Let me ask you this. If you didn't do your self-care and you were having a bad day, would that open you up to problems if you're trying to clear a space?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I even, we all are human and we're running, and I'm a nurse. I work, endlessly. And there are days that I have certain rituals to protect myself and to ground myself. If there is a day that I don't do that, I wake up late, I'm running, I so feel the difference. On a day-to-day basis, I have to give myself my time and do myself healing and protection and service. If I don't, it totally is evident, and it is not easy to take care of yourself. I've struggled along the way. I've been able to help everybody. But in the past couple of years, I've been on the journey to help myself. And it is making me such a stronger healer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd have to say
I have a lot less of this, up and down. I feel most of the time pretty grounded and stable.
excellent.
But it took me a long time to get there.
Absolutely. So if self-care was easy, we wouldn't have this summit.
That is true, right? Right.
So
Just
well, would you share one of your protection techniques? Do you have something you'd like to share? How do you put on the armor when you're going in to clear a space? What do you do to protect yourself?
Well, I usually just set the intention. I use the Merkaba. I protect myself. I call in the angels and the masters for protection and grounding. I use God and Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Fire. I pull in anyone I can to protect myself and to fill my space with only things that serve me. Anything negative to stay away. I do a lot of shielding. And it's funny, when I cleanse the houses, I sometimes become very emotional. I pick up a lot of feelings and emotions, and it's just, it doesn't affect me negatively, but it helps me to understand the spirit and what went on in the home. That I can relay to the people and help the spirit cross.
Yeah, that sounds
there's so much that I do on even a daily protection. But when I go into a home, I protect before I leave my home. I protect when I get there. I cleanse and protect when I leave. But just with the intention that it's all for good.
excellent. So it sounds like you're empathic, and so because you protect yourself, you can feel these feelings and you don't have to worry about taking it home with you.
No, I don't feel that I take it home with me, other than the people who follow me. I don't feel that it really enters my space. That he was just nudging me that I needed to figure some things out.
Yeah.
So I just kept working at it, and it was really beneficial. We have
now you know how to get rid of the energetic stalkers.
well, you're gonna keep trying. Every house that I do is I learn something new. I figure it out, and yeah, it's been great.
So the feelings that you're feeling sounds like it's a receipt that there's something that needs to be cleared, and that's how and then you're feeling these things. You're not taking it home, but I call it the receipt. You're getting information and you get it and you feel it. So you're empathic.
Right.
And now there's a need to clear stuff.
Right. Yeah, I feel that's really important.
How do you know when you're done? How do you know the space is cleared?
I feel it. I know that it goes. Sometimes I cry. I get very emotional. I can actually feel the spirit go. I can feel it leave. The same, even doing some energetic work on people, I can feel, I feel the buildup and then I can feel the release. It's the same type of thing.
Huh. Yeah, that's amazing. So, so it sounds like when you're going into a home, you have an intention. So energy follows intention. So that's the huge first step. And then you put on your protection, and then you go into it because you've interviewed the recipient, the person living there, the requesting, client. You have an idea as to what's going on in there, and then you just kind of go in there, feel it, do your thing, and then all set.
Yeah, I feel that people, especially that I don't know, they think they know who it is. You know what I mean? And I've been able to, explain to them that's not who it is. This is who it is. I end up sometimes I see the spirit. I'll walk by something shiny and I see faces, or, very quickly I end up getting little tidbits of information that I can share with them after they can feel that their space is clear. The happenings that are going on no longer happen, and I've been on that end also. When I cleared my first home, everything stopped, and it was constant, and everything just stopped. So I was so happy that I was able to help her cross with her family. She was stuck in the home. Oh.
So just to make sure that the audience understands, so energies are neither created nor destroyed, so they persist in this case. They're not necessarily bad, they're not necessarily good, but they just are, and they attach because there's some unfinished business. That's the gist of.
Well, there's a variety of reasons that they stay, whether it's to be with people, they feel they're needed, they're helpful, then they get stuck there, they don't want to cross, they're afraid. There's a lot of reasons. Religion has a lot to do with the fear of crossing. They didn't get their sacrament. There's so many reasons why spirits stay, but it's usually fear-based why they don't leave.
Yeah.
So to be able to go in without judgment and calm and compassionate, it helps them feel safe to leave.
Okay. So these spirits can also attach to people, potentially.
Spirit can attach to people, and mostly when you're down or you're running at a lower vibrational energy. That's why it's really important to give yourself self-care, protect yourself, be more spiritual. You're less likely to have any of those issues, and you're more aware.
Okay. So that spirits that attach to people just kind of remind me of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes aren't necessarily bad, they just are, and all they know is that we smell nice, and if they attach to us, they get fed. So that's what they do. And energy attachments, spirits can kind of act the same way, right? They just kind of attach. They don't really have a worry that it's good or bad. That's all they do. That's all they know. They just want to get fed.
Right. So working with the energy work and working at your higher levels makes it more difficult for them to attach to you.
Yeah, we carry enough baggage, right?
Yes, we do.
All right. So any last minute tidbits of advice for can anybody clear a space?
Anyone can clear a space with your intention, use some sage or some but I actually have made up a little bag for a gift for cleansing your own space at home. Gratitude, intention, light some sage. There's certain crystals, there's Palo Santo, there's certain things that you can do to clean your space, go in clockwise direction, open a window, just release all the negative energy in your space, have your little mantra, a nice prayer, whatever works for you.
So it sounds like intention, action, and then calling in the higher energies to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the higher energies are there to work with you, but you have to ask the angels, the masters, they'll help you, but you need to ask for them to help you. So calling in whatever is important to you, to help you clean the space with the intent to clean it and remove all the negativity, so you have peace.
Excellent. So this is definitely an interesting topic, to say the least, and very powerful messages. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter.
So Lynn, how can people contact you after this session if they have any more questions?
They can, right now I'm in the process of working on a website and some classes for the upcoming year. I just finished a space in my home. But they can go to everythinglight242@gmail.com.
Okay, excellent. So Lynn, thank you so much for your pearls of wisdom.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks for being part of our journey.
I really appreciate being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'd also like to thank our audience once again for being part of our journey. And until next time, be well.